So residents of the Winnie Mandela Informal Settlement in Ekurhuleni have waited for more than 20 years for RDP houses. Yesterday, the 133 residents were expecting the Constitutional Court to rule on constitutional damages for breach of their right to adequate housing, but that ruling was delayed. The residents applied for houses back in 1998 and were approved 2 years later, but the houses that were built and registered in their names have been occupied by other people. After numerous missed deadlines and a trip to the Supreme Court of Appeal, the residents filed papers seeking those constitutional damages at the Apex Court for every year that they remain without a home. The Socio-Economic Rights Institute of South Africa is the legal representative for those residents. In fact, Executive Director Nomzamo Zondo joins us for more on the story. Nomzamo, thanks very much for your time on the AM report. It's been such an incredibly long road for residents. Yesterday's delay must have come as a big disappointment.
Of course, Michelle, as you point out, it's been over 20 years, and in that 20 years, they've tried to engage every layer of government. They've come to the courts. They've had a judgment in their favor, saying they must have houses by December 2018, which was then appealed and extended to June 2019. But when June 2019 came, the municipality applied to court to delay it further until June 2020. But even as we speak today, in December 2021, they have not received those houses.
I mean, you obviously know the details and the people involved in this case quite closely. What does that kind of constant delay do specifically in a case like this that concerns a roof over my head?
Look, the delay is so heartbreaking because we've lost some of our key clients, especially from 2020 to 2021. At least about 6 of our clients passed away without ever having lived in those houses. We know that during that time they were spending money on paraffin. They were using pit latrines. We know that some of them, like Mr. Tubakale, lived just across the house that was meant to be his. So every day he's tormented by something that should have been given to him while he lives in the most depraved circumstances.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Nomzamo, how was the situation allowed to get to where we are today? To a point where the homes that were allocated to specific people are being occupied by others, and those people, as you say, some of them living across from the houses they should themselves be living in? So,
Michelle, the head of human settlements at some point wrote to Seri. In fact, the letter never reached us until we requested for access to information from the municipality, and he said to us that this could only have happened if there was corruption, bribery, or maladministration. So the municipality, Ekurhuleni, is to blame for this. And even if we forgive them for that first mistake, the mistakes that have happened post then are not forgivable. It's not forgivable that between 2008 and 2015, the residents engaged with Ekurhuleni, with the Gauteng province, with the presidency, with the SIU, with the Human Rights Commission, with the public protector, but still do not have houses. In 2015, they launched this litigation. And as I said, by 2018, there was a judgment saying, house them. And from 2018 to now, the fact that in those 3 years, the municipality has not gotten their act together to give them houses, the reason why we've gone to the court to say, we need you to in this case, in order to make sure these rights are vindicated, to order constitutional damages, at least for every month that the families are not housed from June 2019, when there was already a court order saying they must be housed.
Yeah, I mean, one would argue for every day that they're not in a home.
Exactly. And unfortunately, Michelle, as I said, it's just heartbreaking because as we waited, the elderly people who have been waiting for so long have just simply passed away, never having experienced the joy of walking into their houses. And there have been numerous broken promises. So the municipality would set a deadline. And then when we all celebrate and say we're ready, there will be a house. In fact, the most recent deadline was the 1st of August of this year. And even that deadline has been missed. And there hasn't even been an explanation of why it has been missed and when houses will be given to the household.
It's such an incredibly heartbreaking story, as you say, for the reasons that you've pointed out and for the very obvious reasons insofar as housing is concerned, Nomzamo. Tell us more about the constitutional damages that now are being sought by these residents.
So the residents have asked the court to give them an amount of 5,000 a month, which would be the amount they could use to rent an equivalent house in Ekurhuleni as a measure for what they have lost. We also believe that order of constitutional damages would also motivate the municipality to move more swiftly to respond to this issue. And when we approached the court, the municipality's complaint was that this figure is a figure that we have taken from how much it costs to rent, and that the residents are not losing anything, are not being housed. But as I said, for instance, they are living without electricity, they are living without basic sanitation, their health is impacted, and all of those things are quantified in this amount. And we are asking the court to order constitutional damages in this case, because we feel like the behavior of the officials and the municipality has been so egregious that something else has to happen to say to these 133 households, the Constitution exists. Yeah. You are protected. And because we can't, no one can manifest houses from thin air, what we can give you is a word of constitutional damages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one would argue again, Nomzamo, that 5,000 rand that you talk about, that really is the amount of rent that they would pay for a similar house to the ones that they lost. It doesn't account for the pain and suffering that residents have been going through, for the people who have died before, as you say, experiencing the joy of living in their own home.
Definitely, and for us, the most important thing is for the residents to get the actual houses, right? I think it would be so painful if the damages were awarded and then nothing ever came to light, that they never actually got the houses. I think it's very, very important that the court, I mean, in this case, the mayor, the city manager, the head of housing for Ekurhuleni are parties to this litigation. And it will be interesting once we get the judgment to see how the court engages those officials who really here neglected their duties to these 133 people. And it's not only the ones that will be in office now, but it's the multiple multiple governments that have been in charge of Ekurhuleni for the last 20 years as they failed these residents. And we do need the city mayor and the manager and the head of human settlements in Ekurhuleni to take action to make sure that the rights of these 133 households are respected and fulfilled.
I mean, there's already been that Supreme Court of Appeal decision, that order that these damages should be awarded, right, Nomzamo? It's up to the Constitutional Court now to decide on the quantum of those damages. And in fact, in that decision in the Supreme Court of Appeal, several justices weighing in on the various issues involved in the case, one of them asking whether the municipality has even budgeted for the homes of these applicants. I want to talk to you about what the justices had to say themselves in that decision, and then we'll come to what the lawyer who was arguing for the Ekurhuleni municipality had to say. But talk to us about what the Supreme Court of Appeal had to say insofar as the behavior of the Ekurhuleni municipality is concerned.
So, Michelle, what you are referring to the actual Constitutional Court hearing, which happened earlier this year in February. There isn't, in fact, a ruling out of the Supreme Court of Appeal on the issue of constitutional damages. This community is now litigating for the second time. So the first time they litigated to get the houses, and there was an order out of the Gauteng High Court which said they must be housed by December 2018. And then the municipality then appealed to the Supreme Court of Appeal to say, we don't have, this is not enough time for us. And in that hearing, the Supreme Court of Appeal asked them, have you planned to provide 133 houses? And the municipality said, no, we have a development where we want to provide 3,500 houses. And the court said, focus on these 133. Do something for these 133. And they were given an additional 6 months. When that 6 months was about to expire, at least 2 days, on the Friday, on the Sunday, the houses would have been delivered. They went to the Gauteng High Court again, and they said they want to vary the order and they want an extension of 1 year. And it is in that litigation that the residents counter-applied for constitutional damages. They said, actually, you can't vary this because already the order says the houses are supposed to be living in those houses already, but we are not. And we think there must be another way where the court provides relief that will respond to the continuous violation of our constitutional rights.
Do we know? Sorry, Nomzamo, do we know now when the Constitutional Court will give that decision that was delayed yesterday?
Unfortunately, we don't.
Oh.
We don't, Michelle. We were notified in writing that there will no longer be a hand down in the afternoon. We are still waiting for further information.
It is absolutely devastating for those 133 residents since 1998. They've been waiting for the homes that were built, were given to other people, and they've been fighting that case ever since. Doesn't inspire confidence, just the arguments from the Ekurhuleni municipality as well, who argue in court that residents themselves have been unreasonable in the demands they've been making in terms of housing. That's a big story, certainly, that we're tracking for you just a couple of weeks since the local government elections.